Hi, I'm Mari Fitzwin with Faith Journey Publishing, and it is my pleasure today to have one of the 8 contributors to our Spring Anthology, The Timing of Everything Promised. We have with us today author Valissa Moore. Welcome, Valissa. It's so good to have you.
Thank you for having me.
It's good to see you again, too. Yeah.
It's good to be seen.
Yes, it is good to be seen. Well, we'll dive right in. Would you introduce us to your story and sum up in just a couple of words what the focus of your story contribution to the anthology was about?
Well, the title of the story was Called to Ministry and Hearing God's Voice. And my focus was to pretty much for any other woman that's come behind me or men, that when you hear God's voice and he's asking you to do something, he's, asking you to do something for the kingdom of God. When you step into that ministry or when you step into what he's trying to, get you to do, it fulfills you more than anything you could ever even imagine. And you will face obstacles because there will be some people who may not understand the call. There may be some people who, won't agree with the call, but you have to make sure that you are doing what he is asking you to do, because you will stand before him one day by yourself, not with anyone else, but by yourself, and have to answer for not doing what he's asked you to do. So I really wanted it to speak to those individuals who may be hesitating or allowing other people to hinder them from moving forward, but also just to help those who may not know or may have forgotten that when God asks you to do something, he's right there with you every step of the way. And he is faithful. He's faithful.
Indeed. Thank you. Thank you so much. And as a pastor, as someone who was called into the ministry, why did you choose this particular story to share with readers? I know we all are tracking with you that there's a call and we need to be obedient to it. We need to come alongside whatever God's plan is for us. But of all the stories that I'm sure have been based on your lived experience as a minister, why was this one so important for you to tell?
Well, it was important for me to tell because I have sat on it for a long time, not sharing it, but hearing the heart of women. And because of the fact that I am in the pastoral position, I hear the testimonies of people. I hear the heart of women who feel like God has called them to do something for him, but they don't have the support. And before I began to write, I asked God, what do you want me to share? I didn't want to just be writing anything just because I wanted to write it. I asked him, God, what is it that you want me to share? What is the right now word? What is the word that needs to be shared with your people right now? And that will not leave me. And so to be honest, it's because I felt like that's what he asked me to do.
That is a perfect answer every time in any situation. And we certainly are so glad that it was the one you submitted. I'm completely convinced that there will be women, and as you said, some men perhaps, who read the story and feel emboldened through your message and encouraged because you did write it and share it. Our mission at Faith Journey Publishing is to create pathways to publishing for women of color. And I'd like to know what your thoughts are uh, regarding this philosophy and how it may have encouraged you to participate as a contributor in our anthology.
Mhm. Well, I think that's an amazing thing, because there are a lot of women who have stories that need to be heard, and they're trying to do, you maybe do it the traditional way, or trying to find someone to publish their book, and they're not getting the help or the information that they need. So I think that it's amazing that that is something that God has positioned you to do in this season, in this time, to help other women. Because I do talk to and come across women all the time. As a matter of fact, I have about 4 or 5 in my head right now who have been trying to get their stories out. They've been trying to share what it is that God has given them, and so I think that's an excellent thing. I have been blessed, by your ministry. I've been blessed to be a part of this, and also just to see the stories from the other women. So, yeah, I think it's an amazing thing that you're doing.
Now, you are one of our, thank you, you are one of our more experienced authors. You have a number of books out, and obviously you do speaking across the country and out of the country. But for those women, maybe the four that were in your head, and of course I can think of several who want to share their experience or tell a story, what words of encouragement would you give them, and how perhaps Faith Journey Publishing can play a role in that?
Mm. Well, I would first of all say don't fear. I think a lot of times too, when we have a story, and I'm just speaking from my own personal experience, when I first, wrote my first book, I was afraid, to be honest with you, because I was making myself vulnerable. I was sharing things inside of me that was no longer just going to be inside of me. Everyone's eyes were going to be on it. Everyone was going to be able to see, what happened to me, what I was thinking, what, went on in my home. Because the very first book that I wrote that was very personal was Be Healed. And that book shared some things that I said, oh my gosh, other people are going to see what it is that I have that I went through. But what I found out was when I released it, when I let it go, when I wrote it, it blessed so many people, because there were people who had experienced some of the same things that I had experienced, but they didn't want to share it. And so when they saw that I shared it, it just really created the freedom in them, if you will, to just express and to share. So we never know how our writings, what God gives us, we never know how it's going to bless that next person. And so if He has placed a book inside of you and it will not let you go, then you need to write it. And I highly recommend, that you connect with Faith Journey Publishing, because you have been such a blessing to me, and you shared so many things with me thus far that have helped me. And so I would encourage you, just write, just write. Don't be afraid. Don't fear.
Just right. I love that. And again, it's been such a joy to work with you and to be with you. Uh, this is author Valissa Moore. She is also fondly known as Pastor V. And you're on Facebook, you do Facebook Live. We're looking for just more of the same from you in the coming years. And maybe there's another book that's coming out real soon. We're just excited to see what God has in store for you and your ministry. And again, thank you so much for being a part of this. This is it's an experience. And as you said, once you step out there and make yourself vulnerable, then the second time it's not quite as hard, but then again, it depends on what it is you're
Yes, it is.
sharing,
Yes.
right? It
That's
depends
true.
on what it is you're sharing. So I want to thank our viewers so much for joining us today. This is Faith Journey Publishing channel. If you want to follow us, contact us at faithjourneypublishing.com. Follow us on Facebook or Instagram. And if you have a story that you would like to put in front of readers around the globe, then we encourage you to be in contact. Thanks again, Valissa.
Thank you for having me. It was a pleasure.